Some moments in human history feel heavy with destiny. They are quiet moments, often happening behind closed doors, away from the eyes of the world, but their echoes can shape nations for thousands of years. The final gathering of an old man and his sons is one such moment. This man was Jacob, who was also called Israel. He was a patriarch, a father not just to his 12 boys, but to the 12 tribes that would become a great nation. His life was a long and winding journey, filled with struggle, love, loss and faith. He had wrestled with an angel and received a new name. Now his journey was nearing its end. On this day, June 13th, 2025, we look back at his story. Imagine the scene. Jacob is old, his eyes are dim and his body is weak. He lies on his deathbed in the land of Egypt, far from the home he longed for. He knows his time on this earth is short. The memories of a long life are flooding his mind. He remembers his mother Rebecca, his brother Esau and his beloved wife Rachel. He remembers the long years of service for his father-in-law, Laban. He remembers the joy and the pain of raising 12 sons, each with their own unique spirit. He feels the weight of his legacy, the promises God made to his grandfather Abraham and his father Isaac. He knows what he must do before he takes his last breath. So he calls for his sons. "Gather yourselves together," he commands, his voice perhaps frail but filled with authority. One by one they come to his bedside. Reuben, the firstborn, Simeon and Levi, the fierce brothers, Judah, the natural leader, and all the others, down to the youngest, Benjamin. They are no longer young boys. They are grown men, fathers of their own families. They have lived through famine and feasted in a foreign land. They stand before their father, their patriarch, waiting. They are there to hear what will become of them in the days to come. Their future and the future of their descendants hangs on these final words. This was not just a simple family farewell. It was something more profound, a sacred act that would set the course for generations. In the ancient world, a father's last words, his final blessing, were believed to have immense power. They were not just wishes, they were prophecies. They could shape a person's character and their destiny. Jacob was about to look into the very soul of each of his sons. He would speak to their strengths and their failings. He would pronounce blessings and warnings, assigning each a unique role in the unfolding story of their people. The air in that room must have been thick with anticipation and a little bit of fear. Jacob did not speak to his sons as a group. He addressed each one individually, his words tailored with a father's intimate knowledge. He looked into their hearts and saw their past actions and their future potential. He began with Reuben, his firstborn. He acknowledged Reuben's status, his first fruits of my strength, but then came the warning. Jacob remembered Reuben's great sin, how he had dishonored his father's bed. Because of this instability, like unstable as water, Reuben would not excel. His birthright, the leadership of the family, would pass to another. It was a hard truth, a painful reminder that our choices have lasting consequences. Next he turned to Simeon and Levi. He spoke of them together, as brothers united in their fierce anger. Jacob recalled their violent revenge for their sister Dinah in the city of Shechem. He called their swords instruments of cruelty. Their anger was a curse, not a blessing. Because of this, Jacob declared that they would be scattered throughout the nation of Israel. They would not have a single unified territory of their own. This prophecy showed that uncontrolled rage, even when born from a sense of justice, leads to division and a loss of inheritance. It was a powerful lesson about the destructive nature of unchecked passion. Then came Judah. The tone of Jacob's voice must have changed. For Judah, there was a great blessing. Jacob called him a lion's cub. He prophesied that Judah's brothers would praise him and that his hand would be on the neck of his enemies. The scepter, a symbol of kingship, would not depart from Judah. From his lineage, rulers would come. This was a monumental promise. It looked far into the future, pointing to the royal line of King David and for Christians to the Messiah himself. Judah, who had once suggested selling his brother Joseph into slavery, had grown into a leader willing to sacrifice himself for his family. His blessing was a reward for his transformation. Jacob continued down the line, giving each son a unique symbol and destiny. Zebulun would live by the seashore, becoming a haven for ships. Issachar was a strong donkey, bearing burdens and serving others. Dan would be a serpent by the road, a judge for his people. Gad would be raided, but he would raid at their heels. Asher's food would be rich, fit for kings. Naphtali was a deer let loose, one who gives beautiful words. And finally Joseph, the son he thought was lost for so long. For Joseph, the blessings were abundant. He was a fruitful bough by a spring, blessed by God with the blessings of heaven above and the deep that lies beneath. Lastly, Benjamin was a ravenous wolf, a fierce warrior. Each son received a word that defined his tribe's future character. These were not just random fortunes told by a dying man. They were deeply meaningful prophecies that shaped the identity of the 12 tribes of Israel for centuries to come. The words of Jacob became a self-fulfilling roadmap for his descendants. For the sons, hearing these words must have been a powerful, life-defining experience. For Reuben, it was a moment of public reckoning, a reminder that leadership must be earned through character, not just birth order. For Simeon and Levi, it was a stark warning that their legacy would be one of violence if they did not change, and indeed their tribes were later scattered. The blessing on Judah was the anchor of hope for the entire nation. When the people of Israel later looked for a king, they remembered Jacob's words. They knew leadership was destined to come from the tribe of Judah. This prophecy gave them a sense of stability and divine purpose. It created a royal lineage that became the backbone of their national story. The image of the Lion of Judah became a powerful symbol of strength, royalty, and divine right. It was a promise that even in their darkest hours, a leader would arise from among them to guide and protect them. Jacob's words gave his family a future to believe in. For the other tribes, the blessings defined their roles and geographical locations in the Promised Land. Zebulun's descendants did settle near the coast, becoming involved in maritime trade, just as Jacob had foreseen. The tribe of Issachar became known for its hard work and agricultural labor, like the strong donkey in the prophecy. The tribe of Dan was known for its clever and sometimes cunning military tactics, like a serpent on the path. Each blessing gave the tribes a unique identity, a special part to play in the larger story of Israel. It was like a great symphony, with each tribe playing its own instrument to create a beautiful and complex whole. Even the blessing for Joseph, filled with such deep affection, had a lasting impact. Joseph had already saved his family from famine through his wisdom and God's favor. Jacob's blessing confirmed his special status. His two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, would become two of the most powerful and numerous tribes in Israel. Jacob's words affirmed that Joseph's suffering had led to great fruitfulness. It was a message that God can turn hardship into immense blessing. This gave the entire family a powerful example of redemption and hope, showing that even from the depths of a pit, one can rise to a position of great honor and purpose. Why do these ancient words still matter to us today, on this day in 2025? It is because the story of Jacob's final blessing speaks to a universal human need. It reminds us of the power of our words, especially the words spoken within a family. Last words carry a special weight. They are the final summary of a life's wisdom, a parting gift of love and guidance. They have the power to heal old wounds, to inspire future generations, and to pass on a legacy of faith and purpose. Jacob used his last moments not to dwell on his own pain, but to invest in the future of his children. The blessings and warnings of Jacob also teach us a profound truth about character and destiny. Our actions have consequences that ripple through time. Reuben's instability cost him his leadership. Simeon and Levi's anger led to their scattering. Judah's growth in character earned him the scepter. This story encourages us to live lives of integrity, compassion, and responsibility. It shows us that it is never too late to change, and that our character is the truest inheritance we can leave behind for our loved ones. It challenges us to think about the legacy we are building with our own choices every single day. Furthermore, this story highlights the importance of family blessings in our own lives. We may not be patriarchs prophesying the future of nations, but we hold a similar power. The words of a parent to a child, a grandparent to a grandchild, can build up or tear down. They can instill confidence, courage, and a sense of belonging. An encouraging word, a spoken blessing, can be a guiding light for someone navigating the challenges of life. We should never underestimate our ability to speak life and purpose into the people we love. It is one of the greatest gifts we can give. Ultimately, Jacob's final farewell is a beautiful portrait of a father's love and a testament to the enduring power of faith. He looked at his flawed, imperfect sons and saw not just who they were, but who they could become. He entrusted their future and the future of his people into the hands of God, believing in the promises that had guided his own life. His story invites us to consider our own legacy. What words will we leave behind? Will they be words that heal, that inspire, that bless? The echo of Jacob's blessing reminds us that our words have the power to shape worlds, and that is a truly sacred responsibility.